This is the Ford Ranger Wildtrak 4x4. And as you can see, we're not in a dealership right now. And that's because we'll actually get to spend a couple of days with this bad boy. We'll take it to the mountains, we'll drive it on the highway, we'll drive it in city traffic, so I can give you a better idea of what it's like to own and drive. So, is it worth your money? Let's find out. I'm old enough to remember a time when pickups were just a step above commercial vehicles in terms of amenities. My first car was a hand-me-down pickup from my father, and that was as basic as vehicles could get. It didn't have power steering, air conditioning was optional, luxuries such as power windows or leather seats were reserved for the top spec models, and comfort always felt like an afterthought. Things have been gradually changing over the years. Car brands are putting more and more emphasis on non-utilitarian aspects of pickup ownership, like styling, comfort, electronics. This Ford Ranger Wildtrak 4x4 I feel is the ultimate iteration of the lifestyle pickup. And in this video, we'll talk about why that is. Let's start with the styling. Styling definitely doesn't feel like an afterthought on the new Ranger. While it's still based on the T6 platform, every panel is new and unique to the new Ranger, and every panel feels like it belongs to one pickup. Ford went for a more boxy and more American-looking design, and every part of the car reflects that. From the squarish headlamps to the massive grille with a built-in faux bull bar, it's a very cohesive design, and it feels like it was designed from the ground up with clarity of purpose. Nothing feels like an afterthought. So it's easy to tell the Ranger Wildtrak 4x4 apart from the other variants. This is the only variant that comes with these matrix adaptive LED headlamps. These are steering sensitive, and I'll show you later how they work. Over there you also get a radar unit. This is the only variant that comes with ADAS. Underneath the Ford logo you have a front camera, and this is the only variant that comes with a 360 camera, which for a car of this size is almost essential. LED fog lamps down here. The grille is painted in gunmetal, which is almost the same color as the body. By the way, this color is called Meteor Gray. You get front parking sensors and you get dual tow hooks over there. Like the Wildtrak 4x2, this also gets the same 18-inch wheels painted in gunmetal. They're wrapped in 255/65 Goodyear Wrangler highway terrain tires. It gets double wishbones at the front and disc brakes. So here at the back, it also gets disc brakes. As for the suspension, it gets a rigid axle supported by leaf springs. The new Ranger is bigger in every dimension. It is 2 inches wider, and the wheelbase is 2 inches longer. Now, Ford moved the front axle forward, and that has a couple of benefits. One, it should help improve ride quality. Two, it should help improve the approach angle. And there's also another reason why Ford did that. Ford is introducing 2 new power plants for the Ranger, a V6 and possibly a hybrid power plant. I'm not sure yet if we're going to get the hybrid, but if we're going to get the Ranger Raptor, it will most likely come with a V6. By the way, here's another look at that transition. Notice how much bigger the wheel wells are on the new Ranger. That's so it can accommodate bigger wheels without a lift. If you're into modifying your pickups, I think this is something that you would appreciate. So here on the side, it looks pretty much similar to the Wildtrak 4x2, except that here it says bi-turbo. Just one minor complaint: the previous Wildtrak came with hood struts. This one, you still have to prop it the old-fashioned way. Again, just a minor complaint. So underneath the hood is Ford's 2-liter bi-turbo engine, which is currently the most powerful engine in its class. It puts out 210 horsepower and 500 Newton meters of torque. This is the only variant that comes with this engine. The rest come with Ford's 2-liter single-turbo engine, which only puts out 170 horsepower and 405 Newton meters of torque. This is also the only variant that comes with Ford's 10-speed automatic transmission. The engine and transmission are basically almost the same as the previous Wildtrak 4x4, but with a couple of improvements. The injectors have been changed, the torque converter has been changed. This engine has been around for a couple of years now, so Ford has ironed out the kinks already. If you look inside the engine bay, you'd see that there's plenty of space in front of the engine. Enough space to fit a V6. Hopefully we'll get that soon. You get roof rails, you get proximity sensors so you can lock or unlock the vehicle without having to get the key out of your pocket. Like to lock it, you can just put your finger here. And to unlock it, just put your hand here. You also get this railing over here for tying down your cargo. Also for easier access to the bed. And you also get this box step, which you probably know about already. Here at the back, it looks almost the same as the Wildtrak 4x2, except that over here it says blind spot radar. This is the only variant of the Ranger that comes with blind spot monitoring. All the emblems have been blacked out. You get a body-colored rear bumper. You get rear parking sensors. The tailgate is of course assisted. I can lift it with 2 fingers. Like everything else about the new Ranger, the bed is also now bigger. This now has the most spacious bed in the segment. Also on the Ranger Wildtrak, you don't only get tech inside the car, you also get some tech outside. You get 2 power outlets over there, one 230 volt AC outlet and one 12 volt outlet. I think this interior is the ultimate expression of what a lifestyle pickup is. This is the most modern looking, the most refined interior in this segment by a mile. Now whether you're a fan of tech or not, this 12-inch screen is a showstopper. This is the only variant that comes with a 360 camera, and for a vehicle of this size, it's almost a necessity. You have this top-down view. You can zoom in like so. You also get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And thankfully, even though you have this massive screen, you still get knobs and buttons here for adjusting your temperature, your fan speed, and you also get a volume control knob over here. But you can also use the screen to adjust the temperature, like so. So you do get plenty of apps here. Even the owner's manual is in here. This gets the same 8-inch screen as the other variants. You get a leather wrapped steering wheel. It tilts and it also telescopes. So both front seats are power adjustable. You also get adjustable lumbar support. As for the materials, you get some relatively soft materials over here. This over here is leather wrapped. This is also leather wrapped, and you get orange stitching all over the interior, which is the signature color of the Wildtrak. You got Wildtrak badging over here and also over here on the seats. You got a wireless phone charger, dual zone climate control, and you get full ADAS, which we will talk about later. You have this knob right here and these buttons for putting the vehicle in 2 high, 4 high, and 4 low. So to put it in 4 high, just press this button. And then you have a couple of options. You can choose among different terrain modes, like you have normal, you have eco, you have tow haul, you have slippery, you have mud. If you put it in mud, the rear differential gets locked. You also get pitch and roll indicators over here. Here at the back seat, you get 2 air vents. You get 1 USB-C port, 1 USB-A port, and you get 1 230 volt AC outlet. You also get a center armrest, although I can never really figure out how to do this. You have to pull it down or pull it up? Oh, you don't pull it up. Okay, you have to pull it up. And you get 2 cup holders over here. I like the height of it.
In terms of driver assist features and active safety features, the Ranger Wildtrak 4x4 is the most complete in the segment. Aside from the 360 camera system, it has lane keep assist, and unlike other systems, this will not just beep at you, it will actually try to keep you within your lane.
The Wildtrak 4x4 comes with lane keep assist, and as you can see, it's automatically following the lines on the road. But from time to time, it will ask you to keep your hand on the wheel. Now, like most other cars with lane keep assist systems, it's not 100% reliable, so don't rely on it. Don't think of it as autopilot. It's more of an assist system. So you can just put your hand here while you're driving, but it's actually doing the steering on its own. And currently I have adaptive cruise turned on, so it's almost like I have autopilot. Almost. Keep hands on steering wheel. There we go. Okay, so far I'm quite impressed. This is doing much better than I expected. Okay. What's your problem, dude? By the way, the adaptive cruise of the Ranger has been improved. Before, you could only activate it above 30 kph.
A lot of high-end car models now come with adaptive cruise control, but not all adaptive cruise systems are created equal. What you don't see in the spec sheet is that some adaptive cruise systems have a minimum speed. One of those would be the previous Ranger Wildtrak. It only worked above 30 kph, and below 30 kph, it would automatically turn off. It was quite a clunky system, to be honest. The new Ranger Wildtrak doesn't have that minimum speed requirement. And the difference is that you can now use it in stop and go traffic. It will slow down, come to a complete stop, and will resume again. If you learn to trust the system and use it appropriately, I think it's the best thing since sliced bread. It makes waiting through traffic a relaxing experience.
The adaptive LED headlamps really come in handy when you're driving on twisty roads like this. So if you look at my light beam right now, when I turn the wheel, it also moves. So it illuminates the path where I'm going. Check this out.
For comparison, here's the Ford Everest Trend without adaptive headlights.
Check this out.
It also has autonomous emergency braking, which I feel is a feature that should be standard on more cars nowadays. It has evasive steering assist, reverse brake assist, and blind spot warning. The Ranger Wildtrak has the most powerful engine in the segment. Most of the power is developed at higher RPMs, but whether you're accelerating from a complete stop or at highway speeds, it never feels lacking. Despite having the most powerful engine in its class and having a 4x4 system, fuel economy is not compromised. I got an average of 17 kpl on the highway, and that's with a relatively heavy foot. In the city, I got as high as 11 kpl. Also, I'm not sure if it's the engine itself or the noise insulation, but it is the most quiet in the segment. On other pickups, once you go over 1500 RPM, you really hear the diesel clatter. That doesn't happen so much on the Ranger bi-turbo. If you drive one of the competitors and then you step directly into the Ranger, you almost feel like you're driving a gasoline engine because it's that much more quiet than the competition. The 10-speed transmission feels quite smooth, and I never got any of the gear hunting issues that plagued the previous 10-speed. The steering is still the lightest in the segment, although it is a bit heavier now, just a bit. The ride quality has been improved, although you don't really notice it on roads like this. The Ranger Wildtrak 4x4 has a host of different off-road modes. You have mud, you have snow, you have sand, and the vehicle tailors the traction control system and the differential lock depending on the terrain. Now, this unpaved path is definitely not a challenge for the Ranger Wildtrak 4x4, but if you bring a 4x2 vehicle here, especially if you don't have a diff lock, there's a good chance of getting stuck. One thing that I noticed though is that the ride quality has been improved quite a bit. I brought the previous Wildtrak 4x4 to the same place and I was bouncing a lot more on the previous Wildtrak. The Ranger Wildtrak 4x4 sells for 1,875,000 pesos, which is actually not that high compared to other top-of-the-line pickups. It is 306,000 pesos more expensive than the Wildtrak 4x2, but the list of additional features is very extensive. You get driver aids and active safety features, which may be an important thing if you intend to use it as a family car. Plus, you get a pretty capable 4x4 system, which should come in handy if you plan to go off-road, whether for business or for leisure. It is a bit jarring to see how far pickups have come over the years. There's nothing about this that looks or feels utilitarian. From the premium interior, to the ridiculous amount of tech, to the quietness of the cabin, and the quality of materials, this is just as well appointed as the top-of-the-line Everest. If this is the direction that pickups are going, I'm not complaining at all. Thank you for watching. I would appreciate it very much if you would subscribe, and I'll see you on my next video.